Hello everybody and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms. Say hi, guys.
Hey, I'm Ben.
Hello, I'm Chris. And something yesterday happened to me that's kind of like a little bit scarring. It's like a little traumatic. So I have very bad eyesight. I wear actually contacts during the day, but then at nighttime I have glasses. And during the day I keep my glasses in like a cabinet thing above my sink in the bathroom. And when I switch them, I switch my contacts out with my glasses. But yesterday when I was switching them, I knocked the cabinet and my glasses fell out of the cabinet, fell in between the sink and the toilet, and landed right on the plunger.
What?
And I am 100% certain that I've used that plunger to unclog a toilet.
So I thought I was going to go...
What part of the plunger? Like, so in my head it fell down and it landed like on around the stick going up, and now there's just like glasses 2/3 up the way your plunger, and it looks like a person.
That would be very lucky if that happened. But no, it landed on the red part, on like the plungy part, the part that you plunge with.
I thought you were going to say they went into the toilet, which may actually be worse than landing on the plunger.
No, well, I don't know.
Better. Sorry, I meant better. Excuse me. I think it's actually better to go in the toilet.
Because, like, the toilet gets cleaned out because you're constantly flushing it, and you clean the toilet.
Right.
Yeah, but you also shit in it.
Yeah, but the plunger makes, like, direct contact with the poop.
And when it was used, you know it was not a good situation.
And when it was used, I didn't, like, wash it off or anything. It's just been sitting there.
Right. It's just a goddamn plunger. Like, you're not going to... Like, that's what it's there for.
There might be some plunger etiquette that we just, all three of us, don't happen to know. You're probably supposed to clean a plunger or something somehow, right?
Do you clean a plunger?
I mean, I like, rinse it off, sort of, in the toilet
Yeah, like you
water.
flush afterwards and kind of, like, give it, like, a little swooshy swoosh to...
Yeah, but I don't go, like... I don't, like, scrub it or anything.
Do you clean plungers? I think you're supposed to now that we talk about it like this.
I really doubt most people clean their plungers.
I feel like you should, though, in retrospect.
This is a good business idea, maybe. Have a plunger cleaner.
Yeah, the stand where the plunger goes cleans it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And it connects to the toilet for the water supply.
Quick, to Kickstarter.
But the thing is, my glasses, I put them directly on my face. So that's no good. I tried to wash it off with soap and warm water, and that's probably good enough, but like in the back of my head, that's not nearly good enough.
Just like get like a little tub and put some bleach in it and then leave your glasses in there for several weeks.
Will that like disintegrate them?
Yeah, and you can get new glasses that haven't been dropped on a plunger.
That's a good plan. I like it.
I think it's just the safest option.
And I like can't like my sight is so bad, like I can't see something probably 2 feet in front of me. Like if there's text 2 feet in front of me, I can't read it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am too.
God, your guys' eyes are so bad. I have glasses, but they're like nothing. They're like 0.75 prescription.
Hey Marcus, I hate you.
Like I'm just looking over at my bookshelf from across the room, and I can read most of the titles on the books. Like some are a little fuzzy, but you know, they're pretty good. They're pretty small text.
My good eye is 5 1/4.
Both of my
How
eyes.
much better is your good eye?
Both of my eyes are 6.
Okay, so you got me beat.
I would actually be like scared to walk home without my glasses, like scared to cross the street and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a similar toilet story. Not with glasses.
With your toothbrush?
Nope, not toothbrush. Thank God. Jesus, that's an easy solution. You just buy a new toothbrush.
That almost happened to me recently too, actually. And I have an electric toothbrush, so it's not a simple solution.
Is your like sink at like an angle or something? Like
it's not the greatest sink.
But no, I had gone down to Washington D.C. to visit my sister at her apartment just for the weekend, and it was just a weekend trip. So like I had like the one pair of shorts I was wearing because I'm like I'm just gonna wear these for the next 2 days. And I get there after a 6-hour drive, and I'm like, oh, I gotta pee, and I go to pee, and I grab my pants, and as I open them, the button pops off, lands in the toilet, and then just disappears down, like, it just, like, shot down the pipe. And now my only pair of pants doesn't have a button anymore. I'm just like...
What? You just grab, like, a safety pin and, like...
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yes!
I had a safety pin, and I had a belt with me, but it was, like... I was just like, man, I feel like ghetto right now.
I don't know why, but just the image of a button shooting off is funny to me.
It was honestly just that comical.
It's pretty great, yeah.
Anyhow, we have a show to do instead of talking about the toilet a lot, so...
Well, we do that in the show, too, so...
Yeah, we should get to the official talking about toilets. Our hypothetical question that we're going to be answering today is, what if everything was voice activated? Ben, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so sort of the sort of, things we decided to work with on this one was we said that they don't recognize unique voices. It's very much like, like Alexa, yeah, where you can get into some fun situations where someone will say, hey Alexa, order fucking a new plunger or whatever.
They say that like on the radio or something, and
then
activates.
Suddenly everyone has new plungers.
That would be such a good prank for real life.
And we basically said that everything. So we said what? Everything that has electronics in it definitely is voice activated, and then just in general things where it makes sense, like doors and stuff as well, probably. Yeah, kind of play it by ear. Like a hammer is not going to be voice activated. A plunger, because apparently everything is plungers now, is not going to be voice activated. But things where it makes sense.
It'd be pretty funny if a hammer was voice activated.
Maybe the plunger, once inserted into the toilet, is then voice activated.
Oh yeah, so you place it in the toilet and then you just go plunge,
plunge, plunge, plunge, plunge.
No, you gotta go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
That actually does sound incredible.
And the toilet seat's also gonna do it.
All right, so I sort of went through just like daily life. So first things first.
The goal was to get that wacky, like, once you start talking, everything starts going off. The fun version. Like, you can imagine a world where everything's voice activated and it's like tuned to your voice or specific commands, and it's just nothing's interesting.
Yeah. So wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off. I personally already most of the time just yell at my alarm clock anyway, so things aren't really going to change on that front.
That makes it easier. Actually.
Right? Like, I guess the one downside is that it's probably a lot easier to just, like, accidentally snooze when you just have to, like, mumble out snooze. So I guess you're going to be late more often.
Oh, but yeah, no, not to segue again, but I actually had, freshman year of college, my alarm clock was motion sensing, where I wave my arm over my alarm clock, it snoozed for 10 minutes.
I had one of those once, and yeah, it's a very bad idea.
I was an hour and a half late to class without, like, consciously realizing it.
That's amazing. All right, so, you're out of bed, whatever. Head over to the bathroom. One of the things that I realized is that for both, like, shower and even just, like, brushing your teeth and stuff, setting the temperature of your water is going to be interesting, because it's going to be very just, like, plain hot or cold, literally, with the outcome being you, like, scalding yourself.
Oh, you don't really have that precision either.
No, it's just like hotter, colder. No, hotter, until eventually you get to something like livable and you just like deal with it because you're tired of yelling at your shower.
Yeah,
I feel like
everyone who's living with you can hear it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, everyone in your building will be doing it.
Right. Yeah. If you just like put your ear to the water pipe, you're just gonna hear like echoing through it like hotter, colder, hotter. So I guess getting ready like bathroom stuff isn't that bad. I had this very funny mental image of like if you had an electric toothbrush, like trying to turn it off while it's like still in your mouth and just like mumbling out like off until it finally turns off, but not a whole lot there. Making breakfast is actually pretty great. Because I feel like really just all the stuff involving getting ready, things being voice activated is awesome. Because I just don't want to be doing any of it in the morning. So like, as much as I can just like yell at stuff and like have things happen, that's like one fewer thing I have to actually do myself. That's great. So I don't really care that like when I say like cook, like my microwave, oven, and toaster all turn on. Like one of them is the thing I'm trying to cook with. So it saved me some time.
It's not gonna be great in the summertime, but
it's not. That's true. Yeah. Well, on the bright side, your AC might also turn on. So, hey, there you go.
Yeah, it's a problem if everything is activated by the word on.
Yeah, I feel like you can't have things be activated by just the word on. You have to be a little more specific, probably.
Yeah.
I guess the bigger problem is actually the word off. On's not too bad.
They're both bad.
This is like my favorite part of the question is just being like on and just like your world lights up or off
right.
And your world descends into darkness.
So I figure, yeah. So getting out of your apartment, it's not too bad overall. It's some bad things, some good things. Overall, not too bad. Maybe a little more efficient even. But then you have to get to work, and this is where things can get a little hairy. If you take public transit, it's not that bad. Actually, taking it is pretty much the same. The one difference you have is that it's going to be louder. Because everyone's still going to be on their phones and shit, but they're all just going to be, like, talking to their phones.
How would a phone work?
I think it's just like you just always have like Siri or the equivalent going, basically. That's just the only way you can do anything. And then what I eventually realized is that probably the sort of like accepted protocol on like public transit, it's just going to be to like whisper to your phone. Because otherwise you're going to like say Facebook and everyone's phone's going to go to Facebook. People are going to like yell at you, which is just going to make your phones do other shit. So everyone's going to be whispering. So it's actually going to be really creepy to ride public transit. It's just going to be like constant whispering.
Creepy-er, you mean?
Well, yeah, okay. So creepier. Overall, public transit, not too bad. I'm going to assume that there's going to be a like soundproof compartment for the conductor so no one can like fuck with the bus or train or whatever, because that seems like a good move. If you drive to work, it's tricky.
Driving is a very complicated task.
There's a lot of things that go into driving, and a lot of them involve things like reaction time that maybe aren't great when you have to like say what you want to happen. So our one saving grace here is that there's been a lot of progress recently on like automatic braking and lane detection and stuff like that. So it's not as bad as it could be, but we're probably going to rely on those systems a lot. I will also assume that we'll be working very hard on getting like fully automated cars out to everyone, because that just seems like a good idea.
Yeah, that will make it a lot easier, because then you won't be like drive forward. You'll just be like go here and it'll go
right.
there.
Yeah, and it'll go there. That's much more doable. And you have to be very careful about what you say to your phone while you're being driven places.
Yeah.
Ben, I have a genius idea for cars. Just came to me. What if instead of being like accelerate, brake, you just made race car noises?
Okay, so my original plan was basically using cruise control, but I like your idea way better.
Where you used to like what was that like way back original internet, that race car where it was just like the guy making the race car noises to a static picture of a race car.
I cannot remember what it was, but yeah.
And it was the most hilarious thing. It was literally just captioned like "Don't laugh," and I could not handle myself.
This is even like a segue from your segue, but there is actually a Half-Life 2 mod where someone replaced all of the sound effects in the game with his own voice making all the sound effects in the game, including all the vehicles and everything. And it is possibly the funniest thing ever made.
Oh my god. All right. Continue, Ben. Driving.
But continuing, yeah. So my original plan was to use like cruise control. So you would say, go 60, and your car would go 60 until you like yelled brake in a panic or whatever.
That would work. I think that would work.
Which I think works pretty well. The one thing I realized with that is that I think technically cops could be a lot more aggressive about pulling people over for speeding, because I didn't realize I was going that fast. It's a lot harder to buy when you have to say how fast you want to go. So that's not maybe great, but it's better than, having to go faster, slower, faster.
Why can't you just do that with the shower thing?
I guess you could. I guess I didn't think, like...
Well, no, because it's not going to work in the shower, because the water temperature that come out is going to be wrong no matter what. Like, it's not like every shower 2/3 of the way over to the warm side is nice and warm. In some showers, it's still cold, and in some showers, it'll boil your skin off.
It also depends on the availability of hot water in your building at the time.
That is true.
That'll affect your, like, response. So, like, in a car, there are, like, mechanisms for cruise control, so I think, speed regulation is a thing that cars do. I feel like a shower is a bit more, like, I'm sure we would try to get that technology, but at first, no.
Yeah, cars are more important.
Exactly, yeah. Let's deal with that one first. We can take some, like, mild burns. Turning is a little tricky. I figured that eventually we get to the point where you could, like, say, like, the degree of turn you wanted to do. But then also, like, situations where you have to judge how far of a turn it is and then get it wrong and then like frantically be trying to course correct.
Oh god, yeah.
Which isn't great. But yeah, so I'll assume that eventually you do make it to work. Your job is going to be different, definitely. Depending on what you do, it could be very different. My job in particular is going to suck because I write code and most of the things I type are not words. So I'm going to be like spelling out
left square bracket, right square
right,
bracket,
exactly.
left square bracket, right square bracket.
So that'll be fun. So I mean, it depends on what you do, obviously. Like, so I'm trying to think. Are there jobs that are going to be easier? There's got to be something. Some jobs have to be like, if you're like a chef, things don't really change, right?
Yeah, there are some jobs where things don't change.
Yeah.
Like an air traffic controller.
Well, that could get complicated because there's a lot of controls in front of you, and you have one mouth. And
Oh god, flying a plane is impossible. Have you seen the control panel on a plane? Yeah, any job that involves staying in front of a large bank of controls is going to be painful. Or actually, maybe it's better because you just have like a list of things you can say then. Maybe that's actually easier.
You just have to remember them.
Well, I think it's just like, instead of having like a giant control panel, you just have like a couple sheets of paper that just say like all the stuff that it knows how to do.
I guess anything that requires like reaction time is not great.
Reaction time is a problem. Yeah, work will vary. Desk jobs. Oh, I guess one of the big changes with like a desk job is that it becomes very hard to like goof off at work. You can't just like, it's a lot more obvious when you like go check your fantasy football lineup because you have to say like, go to ESPN.
I feel like it'll just become accepted, like, eventually. Like, when you work with somebody in, like, a small office and you, like, work with people enough, you walk by people's desks and you catch them, like, on their shit.
Oh, yeah.
And after you do that, like, 3 or 4 times, like, the next time you walk by, they don't even, like, X out. They don't even minimize anymore. They don't do, like, the open a spreadsheet and look busy for a second. They're just like, hey, you catch the game last night? I'm looking at my scores here.
That's true. So, yeah, so work, it'll vary. I think one of the big thing I thought of is that it is going to change the way that people talk. Because I'm assuming people will still have, like, phones on them all the time. So we will have, this landmine of possible, like...
You have to avoid certain phrases.
Yeah, like, you just can't use the word call anymore. Like, that's a word you can't say. Ever. And you have to be very, very careful about, like, the word buy.
The word delete.
Yeah, like, I feel like you have to, like, if you're talking about, like, a product... You probably, instead of saying the name of it, just like describe it in a way that people will understand what you're talking about, but your phone won't, which will be fun. So all of life will kind of be a series of like riddles to like
things will be a lot less concise.
Yeah, which is kind of fun, in its own way.
Would people just switch to Pig Latin? Computers can never understand Pig Latin.
Yeah, that seems unsurmountable.
Their algorithms are not built for this.
What are they saying?
Good luck, Google. Check your database for this.
Oodgay, ukle, oogle gay. All right, anyway.
Oogle gay.
Oogle gay. It's way too fun to say. Okay, with that, that's kind of like the broad stroke stuff I thought of. Marcus, what did you talk about?
Yeah, so I was thinking too, like, just like a little bit of the daily life stuff, but more like where public things become a problem. For example, public bathrooms are really not going to be fun. Because have you ever like been on one of those toilets where there's the motion sensing thing, but like if you have to reach forward to get like toilet paper, it flushes anyway while you're still sitting on it?
Yep.
Now imagine that, but also anytime anyone says flush.
Yep.
Which in a busy public bathroom is going to be a lot. Also, anytime someone needs to get into a stall, open stall door.
I did not think of that one.
I mean, I guess public bathrooms just wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, just like, oh, I need some toilet paper. Dispense, please. And you just hear like...
I guess all public bathrooms are just very public bathrooms now.
In the same line of public things that are close together, voting booths are going to be kind of interesting. Where the louder your vote, the more it counts, I guess. I touched upon the driving. I specifically wanted to mention road rage because, like, if a guy gets mad and shouts outside his car, he's like, get over in your lane, and like all the cars are gonna suddenly move. What else do I got here? Video games are gonna be very hard to play. This is personally gonna affect me a lot, but I can't imagine an interface where you are getting, for say, Mario to jump on a platform in 3D, where your voice is gonna do the fucking trick. He's gonna be like, jump, Mario. He's gonna like jump, like stand still, and you're like, no, Mario, I need you to go forward and then jump. And he's just gonna like jump the wrong way. You're like, no, left, and he's just gonna go way too far left.
Well, can you have him do more than one thing at a time? Because you say go forward, and then you say jump, he's gonna stop going forward, right?
Yeah, so you could be like, keep going forward, but make a left and then jump on the, and then you're gonna be fucking dead.
Maybe you have to be like forward 2 seconds, left 1 second, forward 1 more second, jump, or something.
Maybe.
I don't think
it's
that
not
works.
1 second. It's like you want it to be like 0.68 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Like 1 second is too big an interval for a video game.
Forward 0.86 seconds, turn left 86 degrees.
I think the only game that still works, and I think works in hilarious fashion, is Rock Band. Or you're just gonna have to read off the colors in tune with the music. You're just
Green,
like
green,
red,
green,
blue,
orange,
blue, red,
orange.
green, blue, yellow.
Yeah, pretty hard. Those colors come really fast.
Yellow's gonna be the tricky one because it's 2 syllables.
Yellow and orange.
Oh fuck, orange.
Or I don't know what colors are on Guitar Hero, actually. Is orange on Guitar Hero?
It's green, red, yellow, blue, orange.
I would trust Marcus on this one.
I play a lot of Guitar Hero. Well, not anymore. It's at home in New York. So I was thinking, when I was first thinking about this question, before we decided everything was just wacky all the time, I was thinking about like people using your shit, and then I was like, oh, you could just have like a password. But there's a problem with passwords, is that you have to say them out loud now.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't like go to a building and be like, oh, this is a secure area. 483765 pound. They're gonna be like, got it. And you're like, ah, shit. Like your PIN number at the bank, you just be like going to ATM and you're like 4862, and it's like, oh, oops. So I think the evolution here is that the most important technology that comes out is gotta be soundproofing, and I think you need a soundproof case for your phone so that it doesn't just activate all the time on everything.
So just everything will be soundproofed?
Right. And it's not as easy to do as you think, because I was like looking at, I thought it'd be like all those those sound rooms, you have like foam insulation, like to reflect things and whatnot. But those actually don't, they're not soundproof, they're
dampen sound.
dampening.
Yeah.
So sound actually goes through them pretty easily, but it
doesn't like echo.
Yeah, it doesn't echo. So to actually block sound, it needs to be like a thick, dense material. So you're going to have like, I don't know, like a steel case you put your phone in now. It's not going to get great reception in it. And then I guess for like other electronics, maybe you just have like a head box, like to keep your, like a soundproof head box. So you can like put the electronics or like a microphone for your electronics like in your head so you don't interfere with other people's things. And I guess you just walk around like a Minecraft guy.
Everyone is an astronaut.
Yeah, everyone's a really shitty astronaut.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that's a slight positive. I think you could do some efficiency things. Like, once everything's voice activated, you can really integrate it into your life. Like, for example, I want to cook dinner, and I have, like, the stuff prepped, but I know I need to preheat my oven before I get home. I could just put my cell phone, or a phone or a walkie-talkie or whatever, by my oven, and then as I'm going home, I can call that walkie-talkie to tell my oven to turn on. And I think you can set up a network of, walkie-talkies or microphones where you can activate your products from afar, which you could probably just do with some Bluetooth, but, it's much more fun to, like, live the Jetsons life where you're just like, oven on, and you're like, dude, you haven't even left yet. He's like, I know. It's on, though.
But my oven's on.
The last thing I got on my list here is talking about controls that are very close together and very important, and trying to navigate the different things between them being tough. I think the worst case scenario for this is going to be if you live in a submarine.
Oh.
Yes.
Because all the controls are very close together. And if anything stops working for really any amount of time, you're in pretty big trouble. Like, there's going to be one time where some guys are like, fuck off. And then it's just like,
turning off.
On the bright side, submarine captains, as far as I can tell, already frequently just get to yell dive, and now they have like a real reason to do that.
I mean, submarines have like a lot of people in a compact area too, right?
Yeah.
And they're all trying to control different things.
It's not going to be great.
Nope.
Open valve. Shit! What kind of hatching do you think I should do on this drawing? Oh, I would open hatch. Yeah, that's what I got. I just got a bunch of wacky scenarios, so I'm going to pass it off to Chris for the next one.
Okay, yeah, so both of you kind of looked at like modern day common things. I want to do something a little different, so I looked at how World War II would be affected by this.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So obviously they didn't really have voice-activated stuff back then, but let's just pretend. So the most obvious thing, I think, and probably the funniest thing, is guns. So there would be no trigger. Instead, you just make, like, gun noises. So if you want to shoot your gun, just bang, bang. Everyone, just imagine like a warfield of everyone going bang, bang, pow, pow, pew.
But also your shouting would activate everyone else's gun at the same time.
Yes, I will get to that later.
We're looping around.
Yes,
I got it.
Yes. I guess machine guns, would it be like a held command? Do you have to do each individual bullet?
You gotta do a rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Yeah. Every like beat of the sound is a bullet. So it's actually a skill then, which is kind of cool.
If you can roll your tongue, then it's very useful.
There you go.
Oh, man. Yeah, don't fight the Spanish.
A big part of World War II were the tanks. So you guys like went over driving a little bit, and Ben actually mentioned that they have like self-driving cars and stuff, and that helps a lot. We don't have that with tanks. And they're like, no, you're not driving on a road, so like you can't follow a road.
Right.
So this would obviously be pretty complicated. I think like the standard tank has like 4 people or something like that in it.
That sounds right.
I think there's like 2 people operating guns on the side, and then there's 2 people in the middle. One is driving and one is on the top. And they actually have like a system, like without the voice activated stuff, they have their own system where the guy on top taps his foot on the guy that's driving. So if he wants to go forward, he taps the middle of his back. If he wants to turn right, he taps his right shoulder. If he wants to go backwards, he taps his head, stuff like that. And the guy driving has like levers. So he pulls the right lever to turn right and the left lever to turn left, stuff like that. So I don't actually know how this would work with voice activated.
I think if you were trying to aim the guns, any of the guns, and make turns at the same time, you're going to have a problem.
That would be difficult.
Because if anyone says left, all the guns turn left, and the tank turns left.
Yeah.
Maybe you no longer can turn the gun individually.
So you have to go the direction that you're pointing.
Yeah. Just to simplify things and make it
that would make things
workable.
Easier.
Maybe you just need one guy. If you have the one guy who can see, then he can just, instead of communicating that to other people, he can just say it, and the tank will do its thing.
I think you still have like 3 backup guys in the bottom in case that guy gets like shot, but they just like pop up and take his place.
Yeah, they're just not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's allowed to speak except for the one guy.
Yep.
So we went over tanks. A tank countermeasure is landmines, and I don't think, would you have to like activate the landmine with your voice to make it blow up?
Yes.
So it wouldn't work if it just ran over it.
Right.
So you'd have to like wait for the tank to go over it, and then you'd have to yell.
The other problem is that I feel like basically all landmines have some way to disarm them. So I'm assuming if you just walk around yelling disarm, you will just like put a lot of their work sort of
disarm.
But then this flock of seagulls flies by. It's like, mine. And all of a sudden you're all dead.
Yeah, then they all blow up. All the mines blow up.
They call it the Seagull Massacre.
And then in World War II, paratroopers were a big thing. But I don't really, like you mentioned plane. I don't think a plane would be possible. Like, it's just way too complicated to fly a plane, voice activated, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Like, I mean, the mechanics are pretty...
I mean, I don't know how flying a plane works. I don't know the controls. But I would assume it's pretty complicated. And there's a lot of things you have to do.
Oh, I know what you can do. You can just say autopilot on.
Boom.
Dunzo. Absolutely dunzo.
Okay, so paratroopers are a thing then. And then one big thing about World War II specifically is the tactics they used, actually, specifically the U.S. I don't know about other countries, but the U.S., they focused on like mobile tactics. So they had like teams with different types of soldiers with different guns that served different purposes. And usually those teams had tanks with them too. So it'd be like 3 to 7 tanks. And then you'd have a bunch of guys with machine guns, and you'd have a bunch of guys with like rifles, stuff like that. And the guys with machine guns would like provide cover fire. And then the other guys would run forward and stuff like that. But that wouldn't really work here because of the reason that Marcus mentioned before. Because if you shoot a gun, all of them are going to shoot. So you can't have like specific tasks. Everyone has to be doing the same thing.
Unless you have different gun noises. So if you have like a flamethrower guy, a pistol guy, and like a machine gun guy, the machine gun guy can go rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat, and the pistol guy can go pow pow pow, and the flamethrower guy can go whoosh whoosh.
I guess that could work. I was thinking more like in the Revolutionary War where they just like stand and everyone shoot at the same time, but like everyone would have the same gun. And there'd be one commander guy that is in charge of firing all the guns.
And all the soldiers are just like pointing, basically.
You have to make sure that all the soldiers are pointing in the right direction. Because if it's just in their holster, then it's going to shoot the ground. It's not going to be great. So you got to make sure everyone's pointing. Then you hit POW, and all the guns fire.
Ready? Pow!
Imagine the power trip that you get from that. Feeling all the
Right.
guns fire from your voice.
Ooh, yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah.
Gives me a little tingle in my jingles.
So I don't know how that would like affect the outcome of World War II. It would probably be a lot different, but yeah, that's basically my answer.
I like it. Yeah, I really just love the image of just people being like pow 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 pow.
Yeah,
pow.
that's funny to me.
Reload! Ah, shit! Hold on, everyone stop! We're reloading now. It's like, sir, what's happening? It's like, our guns aren't working. Why? Someone's going around shouting jam.
Well, they're not going to put a jam function in it. It's
I guess they wouldn't. I mean, maybe the comedy bad guys might.
like things aren't going to do anything that you say. If you just say break, not everything is going to break.
Kit Kats will.
Well, I'm going to say break because it is time for our commercial ad break with our sponsors.
Do you have illnesses or injuries that you'd like to recover from more quickly? Want to feel less sluggish and more intelligent? You can get these incredible benefits and many more with Miracle Serpent Cream. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. This must be snake oil. Well, I'd have you know that Miracle Serpent Cream is a 100% oil-free snake-based lotion, so it is provably and definitively not snake oil. And, on top of that, Miracle Serpent Cream has been approved for all of these uses by the FDA. That's right, my friends Frank, David, and Alan all vouch for the amazing powers of Miracle Serpent Cream. Don't miss out on this incredibly legitimate offer. Visit reallynotsnakeoil.com to place your order today.
The growing popularity of monthly subscription boxes got us thinking, could we do a monthly box, but with pets? The joy and excitement a new pet brings to a household can't be overstated. But the tricky part was that you quickly end up with too many pets. The complete food chain subscription box solves this problem as nature intended by supplying a new pet each month that's one step higher on the food chain. From bugs to frogs to snakes, birds, and dogs, you'll never know what's coming next. Not only will your kids delight in a new and exciting member to add to the family each month, they'll learn firsthand about the harsh and unforgiving world of the animal kingdom. Are the pets getting too big? No problem! Simply place your subscription on hold, and when the time is right, we'll send you our special fungal decomposition kit so that you can start your food chain anew. Want to try a different ecosystem? We now offer our brand new aquatic food chain. Experience the ocean all the way from shrimp to shark.
Do you clean your teeth with a toothbrush? That's just silly. A brush is for hair, not for teeth. If you want to clean those pearly white chompers, why not use the same tool that you use to clean the rest of your body? A loofah. Introducing the Toothfa. It's a loofah for your teeth. No need for abrasive brush-like bristles when you have the smooth, gentle end of the Toothfa. Just squeeze on your favorite brand of tooth soap, wet it with water, and scrub away. The Toothfa now comes in 6 different colors for your whole family to enjoy. So next time you're at the dentist, lie about the Toothfa because they do not recommend it. In fact, they actively disapprove.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And a little known fact about this podcast is we're actually recording from prison over in Alcatraz. So our next very important question is, how would you escape Alcatraz? Chris, I'm going to trust you to give our first escape attempt here.
Okay. So obviously this question we're talking about when the prison was operational.
Yeah, now it's exit through the gift shop.
Yes. And actually in my research I found out that there are a lot of people that are thought to have escaped successfully. There's no definitive proof, but there are some semi-successful escapes. So I wanted to try my best to avoid what they did and come up with my own unique thing.
Now, how many escape quote unquote successful escape attempts did you have? Because I only found the one with the few guys in it, one escape attempt with a bunch of people.
That was the main one, the one where they used the paper mache heads.
I think I saw 3 or 4 other ones listed, but none of those all looked pretty definitively unsuccessful.
Yeah, but parts of them were successful.
Right.
Yes.
Some people got out of the cell, but they didn't get over the water, stuff like that.
Yeah, but, escaping is not like horseshoes or hand grenades where close counts.
Right. So when putting together my escape plan, there are really 2 main parts of this that I considered is getting out of my cell and getting across the water. So step one is to gather the supplies that I need. And I'll go into what supplies I need. But as a prisoner, they actually had a decent amount of like recreation activities. So they had a recreation yard where you could play sports and stuff. I think they had like a baseball league and stuff.
I saw that too, yeah.
Yeah. So from that, there's one thing that I want to ask for, and hopefully they'll give it to me. It's those, some people that play sports, they wear those safety goggles to like protect their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask for a pair of those. And I'll get to why later on, but it's important that they're airtight.
That's a good stipulation.
Yes.
I think I just got a hint of foreshadowing there.
The next thing that I want to do is prisoners actually have like an instrument that they're allowed to play. So I got to choose these instruments pretty carefully. And hopefully they'll let me have two because I need two for my plan. The first one is going to be a bagpipe, and the second one's going to be a banjo.
Okay.
So hopefully I can get those two. And then the third thing that I need are latex gloves, like a box of latex gloves. And that's going to be a little tricky to get. So those are going to be in the dining hall, and I'm going to get them during lunch or some sort of meal or something. And the problem with the dining hall is that they actually have canisters of tear gas just attached to the rafters of the ceiling and stuff, and they're remote controlled. So if they see anything fishy or if they like a riot breaks out or something, then they're gonna activate those.
But not if you have your goggles.
Partly. That's part of it. So you're gonna start a fight, and you're gonna start a riot of sorts, and like chaos is gonna break out, and they're gonna activate the tear gas, and you're gonna try to use it to your advantage, but first you need a mask. And the goggles are the first part of your mask. The second part of your mask, you're gonna have to disassemble your bagpipe, because the bag of the bagpipe is made from, or some of them are, hopefully you'll get one that is made of this. It's made of Gore-Tex. And Gore-Tex is made from, it's something called polytetrafluoroethylene. And a brand name of this is Teflon. It's more commonly known.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like stretched Teflon on top of each other, kind of. And this material is known as it's known for being waterproof and for being breathable. So a lot of people use it for like rain jackets and stuff, because it's breathable and keeps you dry. And there is a fact that I found about tear gas. If you have a material that filters, if it filters particles 60 micrometers or smaller, then it will work. Then it'll filter out the tear gas.
Gotcha.
So this Gore-Tex has pores that are 0.2 micrometers, which is way smaller than 60 micrometers. And they're actually 9 billion pores per square inch. So that works out to be like about half of the material in a square inch is just pores. So you'll be able to breathe through it. And it will filter out the gas.
Okay. So you can get your latex gloves.
Yeah, so you're going to make your makeshift mask. And in all the chaos, you're going to sneak past the counter and you're going to grab a box of latex gloves.
Prison escapes are weird because you're like, I'm going to murder someone for some fucking gloves.
I mean, no one dies from it. They just get irritated from the gas.
Well, you did mention starting a riot/fight.
Yeah, but nobody necessarily has to die in it.
This doesn't seem like it's really up to you. It sounds like you're just making a situation where, some people die, whatever.
Look, I'm trying to escape. So when I get back to my cell, the tear gas is actually going to irritate my skin too. So baking soda actually helps with skin. And in Alcatraz, they didn't have toothpaste. They had tooth powder. And tooth powder has baking soda in it. So you can use that to help your skin. And then the next step is to get out of your cell. And in the cell, they have an air vent that's covered by an iron grate. And this is how I'm going to get out. But I got to find a way through the grate. So the way I wanted to do it was to try to corrode the grate. And there are certain things that you need to corrode iron. One of them is water.
Water. Yep. Got that on my list.
Another is oxygen. Salt helps because it increases the conductivity of water. And if you have two dissimilar metals, then the least reactive one of the two corrodes. I think that's the way it goes. Or it might be the more reactive one. I forget which way it is.
Okay, so your plan's got a 50-50 shot of working.
Need a metal that is less reactive than iron. Yeah, so the more reactive one corrodes. So we actually have all these things in our cell. So the toilet actually flushes with salt water. So we have two of the things right there. And then obviously the air is oxygen.
Check.
And then the banjo that we have, the fourth string is wound with phosphor bronze, which is a copper alloy, and it has 80 to 90% copper, and copper is less reactive than iron.
Damn.
There you go.
So you can use this banjo string to corrode the iron. So with all these things combined, you can corrode the iron. I don't know how long it'll take. It's kind of hard to find out how long it'll take, but you have plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean,
You're just sitting around in prison.
Yeah.
So eventually you'll corrode the vent and you'll get out of your cell. And then once you're out of your cell, I didn't really exactly know how to get out of the building. I think they have like shooting galleries and stuff, just avoid that stuff.
Don't enter anything called the shooting gallery. Yeah, got it.
And then once you're out of the building, the next step is to get across the water. For that, you're going to need a raft. And for the raft, you have your latex gloves. So you got to blow up the latex gloves. And I found out that you need 20 cubic feet of air to support someone that's around 160 pounds. And I estimated that each glove can hold 3 cubic feet of air. So you'll need at least 7 gloves. We have a box full of latex gloves, so we have plenty. So you just blow up your gloves, tie them together, make a giant raft, and then you have a banjo that you can use as an oar. And then you're home free.
Nice.
Sounds good.
That's the master plan.
That's quite elaborate.
So, Ben, how would you escape?
I shit you not, I was also going to use corrosion. God damn it. All right. Well, first things first.
Did I just steal your whole answer?
I went about it in a different way. So I can still go through my plan, but some of the reveal is blunted slightly by the fact that the reveal is the same as yours. One quick thing. So I actually looked through all the prison regulations because those are online, and it had this line that I absolutely loved, which is, you are permitted to hold quiet conversations and to play games quietly with your adjoining neighbors only, which sounds adorable.
You must hold hands and share. Sharing is caring.
It very much sounds like the thing a preschool teacher would say during quiet time. But yeah, so sort of when I was going through the escape plan, kind of one of the things I realized is that you really want to make sure you're on your way to the mainland before your escape is discovered. Because, as you point out, Alcatraz is an island. So if they figure out that you're gone before you are off the island, I don't think you have much of a chance of actually getting away. Because, once the jig is up,
there's not a lot of places they have to search.
Right, yeah. So it's kind of tricky to find an actual time to do your breakout. They actually count the prisoners 13 times a day. It's around every 2 hours. It's more frequent during the day itself, actually. The longest gap is from midnight to 3 a.m. So that's probably the best time to try to do it. I also saw somewhere that there's apparently were only 6 guards patrolling the cell blocks at night, which seems low, but I guess also it wasn't a huge building, so...
That's for the whole prison?
Well, the cell blocks at least. I mean, I guess the thought is
there's
that...
multiple cell blocks, right?
Yeah, but you figure that you have, the cell blocks aren't huge. It wasn't a huge capacity prison, right? It was only 1,500? No, not even that. It's a pretty small prison.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Yeah, I mean, they probably had they probably had prisoners in the dozens, not even in the hundreds.
So it wasn't absurd to have a pretty small, during the night, all the lights are out. Any lights that come on are pretty fucking obvious. So your options are pretty limited.
Also, where the fuck are people gonna go?
Right, exactly.
You're on an island.
Yeah, you're on an island still. So, but I figure if you're going to get out, the time to do it is going to be in that window from midnight to 3 a.m. So my plan also, once again, involves getting an instrument too. I cannot believe this.
Did you pick a banjo?
Mine was a guitar specifically, because one of the things I realized is that, so there's actually, once again, there's a very fun diagram of the layout of the prison and the regular, or your cell in the regulations. And apparently, if you had an instrument in a case, you could just store that under your bed. You just put it under your bed, apparently? I don't know. So if you have a guitar, you can just stash stuff in there.
Yeah, I think I saw a diagram where they showed a picture of a guitar case under your bed.
Yeah, so just keep it down there. I don't know. But, so that's step 1 of the plan is get a guitar.
I think it's kind of inhumane to give a whole room, a whole building of closely put together people instruments that they may or may not know how to play.
I did see, apparently the only one you could actually play in your cell was the guitar. The rest was like...
Wait, why just the guitar?
Well, no, so actually, there was actually a band room at Alcatraz, apparently, which on, like, weekends, if you had, like, wind instruments, you could go and play them there, apparently. Alcatraz was bizarre.
That sounds delightful.
I learned so many...
It's like a retirement home.
Right?
I mean, it's any prison. They do have, like, a bunch of activities. Like,
Yeah.
I was reading a story not too long ago about, like, 4 prison inmates who, you know, they weren't in for, like, super long sentences, but they ended up forming a D&D group in the prison, and they were allowed to play, like...
Oh, yeah, I
get,
heard
like,
about that.
Dungeons & Dragons supplements. And so, like, they played D&D for a while in prison, and then, like, 5 years later, when they all, you know, were let out, they just kept the group going, and then they just meet to play D&D a bunch. And I'm like, okay.
That's pretty amazing.
Wonder what kind of fucking themes they got going on in their game.
All right, so step 1, get a guitar. Step 2, get a job in the kitchen. Because, you know, prisoners could have jobs. A lot, you know, there were like workshops and stuff, a lot like maintenance jobs, things like that. But one of the things you could do was work in the kitchen.
And you want latex gloves.
Not latex gloves. Our plans are not exactly the same, fortunately. Which, by the way, getting a job in the kitchen just sounds good anyway. One fun thing about working in the kitchen, you get to shower 3 times a week instead of just 2.
Ooh.
Shower and get new clothes.
Why are the kitchen people more special?
I'm guessing because they work with food, so it's important for them to stay clean. So instead of showering, I think most people showered and got new clothes like Tuesday and Saturday or something. And people working in the kitchen, it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that sounds pretty good. But the reason you need a job in the kitchen is to smuggle out some vinegar.
Hey. I wonder what we're going to use this for. Don't spoil it.
I know, right? don't, you know, there's so many possibilities.
Make a volcano.
Where I sort of got the idea is that apparently they ran into issues because when they like did rebuilding in the prison, they reinforced some of the outer walls with iron from the original cells. Because like originally back before it was turned into like an actual, like a non-military prison, I think the cells were iron and they got replaced with steel ones. But they used that iron to reinforce the walls. And then over time, like after it was done being a prison, that iron was like corroding inside of the walls and causing issues. So I was like, oh, okay. So maybe there's something there. So the bars in the cell are actually only a 1/4 inch thick. And things that are acidic can increase the speed of rust formation. Vinegar is acidic. And salt water can increase the speed of rust formation. And as Chris pointed out, the toilets flush with salt water. And much like Chris, I tried to figure out how long it would take to rust through a steel bar. Could not find out.
It was very difficult for some reason.
It was weirdly hard to find out. I'm actually really confused about that.
Yeah.
There were lots of articles about how to prevent rust, but not about how long it will take to form. I did see that you can get like, if you have like a vinegar water mixture, you can get like surface rust in like under an hour.
Right, yeah, I saw that too.
Did you see that same article with the guy making like the rusty horseshoes? Because that's like the main one. Yep. Same research. There we go.
This is adorable.
I know, right? But yeah, so it probably is a pretty long-term plan, which also, by the way, yeah, I had not really figured out what you do once you actually get your cell open, aside from get off the island in under like 2 hours. I guess, yeah, you make a raft of some kind. Apparently, while you already are working in the kitchen, just grab some latex gloves, do that.
Latex gloves, yeah.
That works. I'm just going to piggyback off that idea.
You don't need to start a riot in the dining hall.
There you go.
Well, Ben, why don't we combine answers to compete with Chris's answers? Because I didn't do so much on the getting out of the cell, because in my research of like escape attempts from Alcatraz, like there was a lot of attempts. There was the one probably successful one with Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin, where they did the most elaborate shit I've ever fucking seen to get out of prison.
That one's incredible. It really is.
Honestly, I think just too elaborate. Like, they were just, like, too smart. Like, they're doing it too cleverly.
They made a drill with a hairdryer motor.
The best part is still, they made paper mache heads to put in their beds to look like they were still in bed.
With hair from the barber shop. Don't forget.
Yep.
I mean, it's all in the details.
And then I read about another escape attempt where a guy made it to the water and actually swam and made it to, like, a cave. Kind of close to escaping. And all he fucking did was just, like, during yard hours, jump the chain link fence and fucking go for it.
Yep.
So, there's varying degrees of how good the security was on the island itself. So, building off Ben's answer, I'll just take it from you're outside the cell.
Go for it.
Go back in time, a little bit of prep. one thing that the successful escape attempt did was they used raincoats that they had gathered from prisoners to build a raft, which is fine, but I don't think that's the best way to get off the island with raincoats. So you want the raincoats, and you do need to do some modifications. They actually got them together by sewing them together and then using steam pipes to heat the fabric to like kind of seal it together. So we're going to be doing that. They also had, I like their location where they did it. So behind the main building, in an area that's not too hard to get to once you're out of your cell, it's also a guard blind spot for the prison. Like they don't patrol this particular area. It's over by the power plant. So they actually were able to have enough time to build their whole fucking raft over there. We don't need to go, so I'm not going to go as crazy as build a whole fucking raft. All I need is some raincoats, and then either by getting a job in cleaning detail or the wood shop, or you could probably get them in the kitchen, all I need is some wooden poles. And doing a little makeshift handiwork, we are going to build ourselves a hang glider.
With raincoats.
With raincoats, which I think is actually easier than making a raft that's inflatable and holds water and is not going to, sink. So you put this hang glider together, and now the question is, where do you leave from? Conveniently, the highest point on Alcatraz Island is actually right by the power plant, and it's not the guard tower. They installed a 94-foot water tower right in that same area. So if you can, at night, go up, climb the water tower, and get to the top, you're 200 feet above sea level. A beginner hang glider has a glide ratio of how much horizontal you get per vertical foot of 10-1. Pros get up to like 17-20, but you're in a makeshift hang gliding, and I'm assuming you can't get hang gliding practice at Alcatraz.
Probably not. It's kind of a one-shot thing, yeah.
They don't have hang gliding classes there? That's not part of that recreation?
It is not one of the activities.
No. So the beginner ratio I use is 10-1. So from 200 feet up, you can go 2,000 feet, which unfortunately does not get you the mile you need to get to the shore. So my first thought was, well, maybe we have better luck, because if you ever go to the beach, the breeze is always blowing in from the sea. So I'm like, oh, we got like this sea breeze to boost us. It's going to make us go faster, so maybe we can get a better glide ratio. And researching this, the problem is the sea breeze actually only blows towards land during the day, because the ground heats up faster than the ocean, and then because of the heat differential, the wind blows towards the warmer area because it's lower pressure.
Are you going to try to escape during the day?
So I decided you cannot escape during the day because you're hang gliding. You're going to get seen. You're going to get shot down. It's not acceptable.
This is true.
So you do have to go at night. So I was researching more about hang gliding, and more than tailwind speed, if you can catch updrafts, you actually can keep hang gliding like basically infinitely. They talk about people like gaining thousands of feet of elevation through different updraft currents. And conveniently, when the sea breeze and the land breeze, where that like interfaces, where they meet, they kind of collide with each other and create updrafts. And it's actually at nighttime that the cycle is in your favor for gaining altitude. So I really tried to find out what kind of forces and what kind of updrafts I could expect. But oh my god, wind is complicated. But these updrafts can, on nasty days, generate thunderstorms. So you have plenty of wind if it turns out you need to go like on a thunderstorm day. But here's where I think this plan is better than a boat. One, it's going to you're going to be a lot faster in a hang glider than in like paddling a boat across the water. And two, if you start off higher than the search towers, they're pointing down towards the water.
Yeah, they're not expecting the sky.
Yeah, they're not expecting you from the sky. And if they found you escaped, they're going to be looking at the shore. So I think by the time you get low enough where the searchlights would see you, you're going to be past their range. They're going to have no idea where you went. And you're going to get to shore like in a reasonable time frame. So I think hang gliding is actually the way to escape Alcatraz.
If the wind blows the wrong way, though, you're screwed.
Well, like I said, so the wind is coming from the shore, but it's still coming in from the sea, and they collide kind of on the shoreline and go up.
Right, but once you're like in the middle of the water, you don't really know what the wind's going to do.
Well, no, because the scale of the wind is much bigger than the scale of where you're going. You're by the shore. Like, it's a mile, which is nothing in ocean terms.
Yeah, it's not bad.
The diagrams made it look like the scale was appropriate. The pictures I saw on the internet that were very pretty and made me look like the ones I wanted. So the deep research is on my side, thank you. But Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I think Ben, I think me and you are gonna escape, Ben, with our 2 hang gliders.
I mean, I think my plan is definitely better than yours. Both of yours combined. I mean, my plan is Ben's plan is just my plan.
Right.
Well, like the first half of my plan.
Well, you know what it is, Chris? I think you have the same problem that Frank Morris, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin had, is that your plan is getting overly elaborate just to fucking like, because you can just hop a fence. you can like start a riot and get some vinegar and, you know, tie up some banjo strings, or you can just hoof it. Just hoof it.
Not if you want to get on top of that water tower.
Yeah, well, so maybe do a little bit of corrosion. But yeah, I think we could get out, guys. I think if we were all together, we would get out no problem.
Yeah, if we were a team of 3, we could definitely get out.
Honestly, I mean, I have a guitar, I have a cushy job in the calf. I think I'm fine. Like, actually, the best way to break out of Alcatraz is to wait until it closes in 1963. So just do that.
Yeah, but then they just take you somewhere else that's actually not escapable. That has like more than 6 security guards. But yeah, it was actually kind of funny how many people like managed to escape and then just fucking drowned. Like all of them. Like there was like 15 attempts and like 13 of them was like they drowned.
Yeah.
And even the quote unquote successful one, they think, you know, is like unclear where they drowned.
Yeah,
or
they
not.
probably drowned. There's a chance they did not drown. That's success in Alcatraz.
I think they said the FBI got a letter from someone who claimed to be that guy.
Yeah, there was like, they got a letter, there was like a Christmas card or something, and someone said they had like a picture of him in like somewhere in South America.
Well, I think they got a letter from the guy, and he said that he like his co-escapee died, and he was like sick or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's evidence that they escaped. There's also evidence that they fucking drowned, because also in addition to, you know, the letter years later, like the week of, like they found a torn up life vest made of the same raincoat material, and they found pieces of the raft washed up on shore.
Yeah.
Which could be maybe the raft abandoned, but it could more than like they found like an oar in the middle of the channel.
I mean,
so
according to the movie Escape from Alcatraz, they did it. So that's a fact. That was Clint Eastwood. So Clint Eastwood.
Oh my god, I'm so far. I forgot about the historical documentary. my mistake.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood successfully escaped from Alcatraz.
For more Clint Eastwood facts, tune in next week to Absurd Hypotheticals.
Don't hold us to that.
I'm going to sneak in 2 Clint Eastwood facts next week. You can hold me to that.
Yeah, but don't say when they are. Don't say when they are. Just say them without telling us they're Clint Eastwood facts. And we're going to define Clint Eastwood facts as facts that Clint Eastwood happens to know.
Yep, I can work with that.
Yeah, so you prepare that for next week. Don't forget to do the questions. And those questions specifically are, what if you could perfectly train ants? And what if the ground was ice? If you have any questions, comments, or your own hypothetical idea you want us to answer, let us know. You can reach us by email at absurdhypotheticals@gmail.com. Send us a tweet at absurdhype, that's HYPE hype. Visit our website, www.nerdchomp.com/absurdhypotheticals. And if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps out the show and lets us keep making it for you.